Hi guys, it's Erica Heron, author of First Dollar Feeling, available for purchase on Amazon.com. I am here for the latest episode of First Dollar Friday. So this week we are talking about do-it-yourself marketing, right? So this is kind of where my jam is. I own a marketing agency, if you did not already know that, the Small Business Marketing Studio. I have a 16-year career working in that marketing communications agency, a little bit of journalism, all that kind of fun stuff, lots of PR, communications in general, both internal and external. So you may be sitting here thinking, why are you going to explain to me how to do this myself when you have a business that completely and totally relies on people hiring out their marketing services? Well, because one thing that I've learned in all of my years doing this is that an educated customer is the best kind of customer when it comes to digital media. So here's the thing. The reality is technology is changing so quickly that when you look at somebody who has a 4-year degree in marketing from a standard decent college, by the time that they graduate, the technology that they were learning at the beginning of it is either much different or light years ahead of where it was 4 years ago. You have to think about how much more prevalent social media became just in the time between 2014 and 2018, and then or from 2016 to 2020, how much more prevalent social media became just on its own. Just think about, even not even looking at the different platforms, think about how far Facebook came and all of the issues that have arrived from that and all of the opportunities that have sprung up from that just in a 4-year time period. It's not the same platform that it was 4 years ago. So if you're looking at somebody who has a 4-year marketing degree and that's all of the experience that they have, or if you were to go get a degree in marketing or communications, something like that, it's going to help you with your critical thinking things and the basics, the core values for what marketing and communications is and how to do it. But you're not going to be able to keep up with the technology. Where we find that is in professional development and usually some sort of course or instruction from the platform itself. Here's the thing. This is where digital media gets very different from your marketing and communications practices from decades past. It's all online and it's all accessible to everybody, anybody. You don't have to be in the marketing industry to figure out how to use Facebook ads. You do not need to be a coder in order to understand how to do basic SEO on your website. You just don't need it. And any practitioner that is coming to you and saying that, well, you can't understand this, or they're intentionally talking over you and using all the big technical terms and can't stop and explain to you in basic layman's terms because you're not an SEO expert, why should you be? You're hiring them to do that. If they cannot sit there and explain that to you in basic terms, it's not a practitioner you want to work with. So if you're looking at reputable communications professionals, communications and agency owners, usually if you come in and you know something about what you're talking about, and you understand the time it takes to do this well and to do this properly and to make it worth the investment in both time and money and energy for the business, that agency owner is going to get way more excited about that kind of client because they understand what we do. They understand why it's valuable. I don't have to constantly explain, to somebody who does not quite understand the basics of digital media and how much time this takes to be competitive, why we charge what we charge. All of a sudden it becomes a very different conversation about this takes so much time. This is 40 hours of my week just dealing with social media. I don't have time for this. I've got to go run my business, but I know that this is what it takes to do it right. So I'm going to go hire somebody who knows what they're doing. The right marketing practitioner is going to look at that and is going to welcome somebody who knows what they're talking about when they're talking about digital media marketing and how to expand it from there. You don't have to be an expert, but you need to at least be able to have a basic level conversation with practitioners in order to ensure that you're not getting sold snake oil, for lack of a better term. I can use the anecdote of, this is a no shit, there I was marketing story. I've worked with other consultants and other contractors in the business. I've had friends that have had clients call them wanting information on or having a question about Facebook ads or something like that. And I've watched them put the client on speakerphone, look at their phone, look it up on Facebook, and then literally regurgitate what's on their phone to the client like they knew this all along. And then they're charging this client hundreds of dollars an hour to do this. You don't want to be in that boat. You don't want to have somebody who's like, well, I'm going to act like I know everything and you know nothing, and that's why I can overcharge you for things, because you don't know any better as the client. You don't want to be in that situation. This isn't like a lawyer where you have to know everything about the law. This is a situation where you have access to the information. You just don't have the time to figure it all out. So you go to somebody who knows it inside and out. However, before you reach that point, I highly recommend to you, and I recommend this to all of my clients, take the time to get the base level marketing practice under control. So there's a few places that you can do this. And the great thing is it's not going to cost you anything other than a little bit of time. You don't have to do this all at once. You can break this up into little mini segments of learning, make it your professional development. Dedicate an hour a week to just your marketing understanding, because everything in business falls down to marketing, right? If you're not selling that thing, it's not gonna make any money, and none of this is worth it. So a couple different areas that I would recommend starting with. One of them is Google. Google is still the end all be all of SEO and marketing, or digital marketing. Whether or not that is the case in 10 years remains to be seen. But for right now, we are all working, according to it's Google's world, and we're just living in it, especially if you're in the marketing industry. But Google has a skills shop. So if you go to skillshop.withgoogle.com, they have some certification options for Google Ads, for Google Marketing Platform, Analytics Academy, Google My Business, and a few other upcoming things as well. So you can go through there, you can take the courses, and some of them are more time consuming than others. You don't have to get the certification. You just want to go through some of the classes, watch the video, figure out how to use it. Here's the other thing. Google just updated its Google Analytics platform dramatically. Like, the entire functionality of the platform has changed. So chances are really good that marketers are, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing right now, are going through the same classes you're going through now. So things change that quickly. The best place to go is to the platform itself. So it's skillshop.withgoogle.com. If you click on the Get Certified link, there's a whole different range of options. If you're interested in doing Google Ads, that's a good place to go. I recommend starting with Analytics Academy and Google My Business if you are just getting started, because both of those things are core components of every single digital marketing strategy, just across the board. You will need those skills in order to be able to read even the reports that a marketing professional will send to you. So Analytics Academy, Google My Business, Google Marketing Platform is good to know as well. And then, of course, Google Ads, just so that you understand how to use the platform and what that looks like, because there are a lot of common misconceptions about how that process works. It's completely free. It's skillshop.withgoogle.com. All right, so if you're looking at social media marketing, Facebook and Instagram are still key contenders here. Again, whether or not that's the case in 10 years, we'll wait and see. But if you are looking at doing Facebook ads or something like that, the great thing about all these social media platforms is they want you to spend money with their platform. So they are going to provide you the information you need to be successful, because if you're successful, you are going to spend more money with them. So it is in their best interest to educate you on this. So Facebook has a program that there is a free option here. If you go to Facebook Blueprint, and you need to have a Facebook profile at a minimum to go and access this. You should have a page as well, but I don't think it's required. But there are featured lessons in there, and there are learning programs that you can go through that will take you through various skills. And I'm looking at the page now, so that's why I keep looking off screen. So if you go to facebook.com/business/learn digital skills program, and I will include these links in our blog and in the comments as well, so you don't have to remember all of that. But there is a learning program for small businesses. that you can go through that'll teach you the basics of using Facebook pages, Facebook Business Suite, how to set up ads for both Facebook and Instagram. This is the thing, is Facebook owns Instagram. So you're killing two birds with one stone here. So if you go to the Facebook Blueprint, you're going to get the best practices, the current best practices for both Facebook and Instagram on the Facebook Blueprint. And if you just Google Facebook Blueprint, it's going to pull all of this up. But you're looking for learning programs and for small businesses. If you are a young marketer, they also have a section in there that's for job seekers and students, where they do offer some certifications. There is a cost affiliated with that. I think it's like $140 to get the certification, but it is valuable to add to your resume, and it's, you know, less than taking classes at your local community college. So it is a good thing to keep yourself up to date on that. I put all of my staff through Facebook Blueprint just because they need to have a base level understanding of how to operate. And the great thing about going to something like Facebook Blueprint or Google Skills Shop is that when they update their platform, their program, and everything else, they also update the training, which is not something you're going to find as quickly with your individual marketing professionals, because we don't know what the platform's going to do one moment to the next. Facebook already has all that. Google already has all that. LinkedIn has all that. So they're going to update their training before they launch the new rollout of a new feature or a complete overhaul. So if you want the latest and greatest information on how to do this yourself for Facebook or Instagram, go to Facebook Blueprint. LinkedIn is not as in-depth as Facebook is on the education side, but I have high hopes for their future. They do have a LinkedIn Marketing Success Hub, which is newer. They have the basics in here, like I'm looking at: set up and run your first ad, creating effective ads, targeting, bids and budgeting, measure results, ad guides, stuff like that. And some basic playbook stuff that's directly from LinkedIn itself. And this is the thing, you don't want to go necessarily to like a third-party coach, right? You want to go to the platform itself. So this is business.linkedin.com/marketing solutions. And then they have, under the resources tab, they have a success hub, and that's where you're going to find all of that information. So if you're looking at LinkedIn as a possibility for your digital marketing, you do have a little mini school there. Again, I will include this link in our blog and in our comments as well. And then finally, if you're really into the marketing side of things and you really want to be prepared, everything about digital marketing should be translated into building up that traffic to your website. Your social media posts, your blog, everything is connecting everybody to get that first handshake, right? That first introduction. If you have a properly designed digital marketing strategy, the goal is to shorten your sales cycle, bring in more clients, more qualified leads. So it's less work on your people, which makes it more cost efficient for you, because the more time your people are spending, the more money you're spending. So we want to kind of scale your marketing. That's where digital marketing really comes into play. So if you really want to get down deep and do this right, here's where you go. So Moz, M-O-Z, has probably the best comprehensive beginner's guide to search engine optimization. So that's what happens when you set up your website to bring in more traffic, more qualified leads. It takes into account the buyer journey. It takes into account your content. It takes into the account the framework of the website, your sitemap, how long somebody spends on a website, where they go before they click on schedule a consultation or buy now versus leaving the website and not buying anything, what you can do to keep them on the website longer. All of these things are just not just a pillar, the core pillar of any successful digital marketing strategy. So if you want to learn about SEO and where all of this should be stemming from, because social media just ties into that SEO, all of your email marketing should be tying into that SEO. All of it boils down to that website hub. Everything is pulling back into that. So if you want to learn how to do that right, Moz has a great free beginner guide to SEO, and then they have some more advanced classes as well that you can do more do-it-yourself. It's kind of a guided practice. There are some fee-based things, but really they are the most comprehensive resource for this that's not platform affiliated. So you want to go to moz.com, Beginner's Guide to SEO. If you just put that into Google, it'll pull right up and it will walk you through the entire course. And again, I will include that link into the blog and into our comments as well. So that's the basics of what you need to know to just get started, right? And then moving on from there, Twitter has a success hub. TikTok is still trying to figure out what the heck they're doing, but they do have some resources as well. The bigger the platform, the more comprehensive their education hub is going to be. It's a good rule of thumb. But if you just are completely and totally lost in digital marketing, I highly recommend starting with the foundational stuff there with what I've mentioned. And then once you get a better feel for what it takes to be successful in that market, because it's so competitive and it's so time consuming, then you're going to feel better equipped to go and talk to a qualified professional and make sure you're vetting them properly, right? If they can't answer the questions, or if they answer something with technical information that, is 5 years old, obviously this is not a practitioner you want to be working with. You have the right information in front of you. You have the power to sit there and protect yourself and say, no, I know that this isn't accurate because Facebook says you can't do this on their platform, right? So it's a good thing for you to be able to have that foundation for yourself. So again, we're looking at Google Skillshop, Facebook Blueprint for both Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn Success Hub, and Moz Beginner's Guide to SEO as just a foundational education basis for any do-it-yourself marketer, any do-it-yourself business owner that wants to know the foundational stuff of what you need to know to start your digital marketing strategy. All right, so all of this will be more in depth on the blog with all of these links, so you don't have to go digging. And I know that's a pain in the butt and your time is short. So thank you so much for joining me for First Dollar Friday. And again, First Dollar Feeling, with more marketing tips and sales tips and education tips and all of this other fun stuff that you need to grow your business is all in there. You can also, that's available for sale on Amazon. You can also visit us at www.firstdollarfeeling.com for more resources. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week.